definitely blockchain is a momentum and we all are part of it. We need to embrace it and it will bring social equality. So think it from that perspective.
Hello and welcome to a whole new episode of your favorite CX show, the Engati CX show. I'm your host Rahul, and today we have a technology expert and a TEDx speaker with us on the show today. But before that, all of you new guys who are watching the show, please make sure you hit the red subscribe button that you see there. This will help you get in touch with us whenever we drop a new video, a new content, because we have amazing leaders and thought leaders coming through on the show and shedding light on different topics such as CX, AI, and all that amazing stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and never miss out on any new update and any new video coming out. And before I introduce you to our special guest, let me introduce you to the magic of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform available across 14 channels, 35,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWord, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel, and the Engati CX podcast, of course, receiving upwards of 400,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, none other than Prajit Datta. He is an AI research scientist, and he also leads the blockchain team at AFRI. He is a TEDx speaker and has given multiple tech talks on blockchain and technology. He is also a member of the Forbes Technology Council and invitation-only community for world-class business technology executives. Prajit has a vision to develop intelligent systems using the principles of blockchain, which will change the way we look at the world. So welcome, Prajit, to the show. It's such an honor to have you on board.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rahul, for such a wonderful welcome.
Jumping on to the first question that I have for you, Prajit, is what are the implications and uses of blockchain, and how does it work in practice really?
So blockchain, a technology which was built anonymously or maybe was introduced in the market anonymously from a group of developers to kind of bring trust in the system. When it comes to like financial industry, there were a lot of in 2008 crisis. People were losing trust in central banks and all, and this technology was introduced. And what this technology does is basically it try to remove the middleman or the centralized system, so that the opportunity is decentralized, trust is decentralized, and everyone will have transparency to the whole thing. Now, it started from the financial sector with the introduction of Bitcoin. We are all aware of that. Yeah. But also it has taken up into different sectors like supply chain management, healthcare, voting, any sort of industry, wherever you need a transparency, where you need the information stored in a ledger form, the blockchain is introduced. Okay. So it is now touching on to every sector, coming to autonomous vehicles, wherever you wanted to deploy blockchain and have that identity of the owner who is actually owning the autonomous vehicle, or any sort of smart home solution, wherever you don't want it to be, where you wanted to be really vigilant about your private data, there you can introduce blockchain.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the use cases have increased also lately, and there's so many uses now, and it's really fantastic to see that. Which brings me to the next question. How can blockchain be used for like streamline and automate complex processes while reducing operational costs as well? Because I think this is one of the things that blockchain is famous for. So how do we kind of, go about that?
So when it comes to like reduction of operational cost, basically it is removing any sort of support system, which is actually like, you think about banks, right? You make some transactions in the banks. So there is an office in the bank which is not facing the customers directly. They're doing all sort of reconciliation. They're all checking up all sort of bank accounts and credit and debit and make some auditing. You are transporting one item to one commodity from one point to another point. There will be some people or some services will be provided who will be taking up the data, kind of feeding into the system, like how we do the whole, how we actually process in the whole digitalization framework. Right. So the same way if in a blockchain network, what will happen that you just feed the information and it is automatically fed into a distributed ledger system, as what we call, and there it is passes through or it touches upon different hierarchy or levels in the ecosystem. So that's how it is automating. Second thing is, think about any sort of human errors are made by the back office. Like someone is tired or someone is in a bad mood and all, or any sort of, this type of things we definitely face. Machines don't get tired. So basically, it's an investment for an organization where they invest in this blockchain system, which can replace all the back office in any service line. And that's how the organization can save a lot of money when it comes to like training the employees, when it comes to like, putting up a hierarchy, promotion, different sort of sorting documents and all. This type of things can be actually, the blockchain can really take care well of that, this type of things. And the best part about this is a technology which actually has brought trust in the market. So you don't need to believe in institution anymore. Like earlier, people used to have a big belief in central banks or any sort of government institution that they're right and wrong. But with the more connected ecosystem, we are also observing there is a lack of trust in people. So this technology is enabling them with this technology is enabling the customers with trust, and that's how for an organization a trust is being delivered with with a very lower cost, and that is also a kind of an it's a computer system you can think of instead.
Absolutely. It's fascinating as to to see how many use cases this really has, and it is, I think, actually shaping the way people look at institutions these days, and the trust factors, as you mentioned. Absolutely agree to that. But Prajit, now that we are on Engati CX, we have to talk about customer experience. So with blockchain, what according to you is blockchain's role when it comes to maximizing something like customer experience?
So the customer experience, like for any customers, it's a time wherever the customer needs any sort of information in a click of buttons. Now think about, you want some information about your parcel. Now there is a customer care support. You will reach out to them. They will make some calls in the zonal office, and they will track the information, and they will try to get back to you if something is tracked or not. But if it is automatically tracked in a blockchain network, with one click of some ID and all, you will get that information. Though we see this type of things already in place without having blockchain, but think about the food and pharma industry. I was in one country, Vietnam. So there in 1970s, because of this Vietnam war, they have dropped a lot of chemical weapons on their lands and all. And what happened that the food has started, now they're carcinogenic foods, and the carcinogenic foods is very dangerous to the health and all. So if someone is ordering a food in any restaurant, with the enablement of the blockchain in supply chain management, they can actually get all the information about from where the raw materials are coming from, where they have been produced, and everything. This sort of experience actually gains the trust of the customers, and that's what it is. Right, a lot of big companies use this as our biggest god is customer, or our the biggest, the decision maker is the customer. Right. So actually, how to make customer happy is giving them experience, and how to give experience is actually enabling them with trust, and that's what blockchain does.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic that you mentioned about the Vietnam restaurants and the ingredient. That sounds really fascinating to me as a third person listening to it. But Prajit, it's no secret that obviously while adopting any technology, there are its own challenges. So what according to you are the key challenges for using blockchain technology, and how can they be really overcome?
The key challenges, I think, is blockchain was in a hype cycle, in the whole process earlier, and a lot of POCs have been developed and all, but companies are not sure about the scalability. Right. And also there are some here and there kind of um, half-informed news articles are there that blockchain has been hacked and all, though it is not the true case, because blockchain was never hacked. It is the credentials of the participants who are entering into the network was hacked. So it's a different story altogether. So people are a bit less informed and general, and the companies also think about the scalability purpose. They think that if this network gets massive, then how we can do any data migration, or if anything we need to do, or anything we need to change the ecosystem. Those sort of speculations are always there in the market. But how we can overcome this? So basically, the best way of overcoming these challenges is, first of all, have a little trust on the technology, and try to deploy the technology in the ecosystem of your organization, which is not that critical to you. Think about playing with internal employee records. Maybe your business is into something else, but you're storing the internal employee records in a blockchain network and trying enabling it, or something like that. Or maybe some other critical you can think of critical information, like your employees are swiping the access cards and entering into the office. Let's start with that. With slow, so one POC, then another and another, you will start getting more trust in the whole thing, and then you can actually deploy the blockchain network in your critical business line. That's how you can gain more trust. Of course, there are a lot of use cases are coming in the market. The big companies like IBM, Maersk, and all, they are actually deploying blockchain in different sectors. But at the same time, to have that self knowledge about blockchain and to gain more self trust on the blockchain, you can start deploying these POCs, small POCs, and then try and test out. It's like an iteration process with different business lines.
Absolutely. I think there has to be the first step that has to be taken. Only then will you be able to experience the full potential of the software and the technology. I absolutely agree to that. Well, this was a great conversation, Prajit. So many insights, fresh insights that you've put across. Before we close out, are there any thoughts that you would like to leave our audience?
Definitely. I want to speak on blockchain only on a general thought. Is we all know we are connected now through internet. We are connected through Zoom call, and you are in India, I'm in Sweden, and it's possible. But the problem with the internet is that it has widened the gap between the people who have the access of internet and between the people who don't have. And that's the reason, there is a lot of stigma around the fake news is going on. But the best part with the blockchain is the blockchain can remove that social inequality barrier and can bring equality among everyone, even for the people who don't have access to blockchain directly. For example, as I am also from India, I can tell you some short story on that. Is after the Indian independence, a lot of people who moved to cities, big cities, leaving their ancestral lands, when they return back to those places, they actually found that those land has been taken by some local mafias and all, right? And that's how they went through the litigation process. And to fight a litigation process is a really big thing. A lot of them gave up and all these things. So their rights were not reinstated back by the government, right? Because the courts work on the proofs. But with blockchain, think about if all those information was stored in a blockchain network, so much of time we would have saved, so much of capital we would have saved. It's a lot smoother process. Even if for a farmer who doesn't have a smartphone, who doesn't have a computer or internet, their information are stored in a blockchain network, so their rights are reserved. So definitely blockchain is a momentum, and we all are part of it. We need to embrace it, and it will bring social equality. So think it from that perspective, then we can make this world a better place, right? Because everyone is talking about democracy. We are seeing a lot of things happening around democracy, equal rights, and all. So this is a technology. This is the first time a technology which has came in the market, which can enable those things for you. So it's really going to be a big revolution with blockchain, I feel.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. None other than Prajit Datta with a very important message that we have to take the technologies seriously, because only then we'll be able to. It's amazing how you can see technology enabling social changes as well on a bigger scale. So definitely one of those examples can be blockchain. So thank you so much, Prajit, for giving us your time. Your insights were amazing, and I know our audience are really going to enjoy this show.
Thank you so
And
much, Rahul. It was wonderful talking with you.
appreciate that. And before we close out, to all our audiences out there, we have an amazing Engati CX webinar coming through. And this is going to be about live chat and how you can really tackle complex queries on the real time basis. And it's with the amazing Dennis Wakabayashi. And all the details for the webinar will be available to you in the description box. So make sure you check that out and register today itself, because it's going to be a fun evening that day. So thank you so much. And we'll be back with a new episode and a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned and we'll see you around for the next one.